On a warm January afternoon in Southern California, the New York Giants, one of pro football's flagship franchises, took the field for their first ever Super Bowl. In a game that was less of a competitive struggle and more of a coronation, the Giants overwhelmed the Denver Broncos to capture the 1986 NFL championship. The 39-20 victory capped off what had been the most successful season in the Giants' long and storied history. Indeed, Super Bowl 21 and the Odyssey of 1986 brought back to Giants fans the memory of other championship-caliber years. During many moments in Super Bowl 21, the present blended nostalgically with the past. It was Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall, evoking fond memories of valiant defenders named Robustelli and Katcavage, Greer, Lynch, and Huff. It was Mark Bavaro and Phil McConkey rekindling the aerial fireworks that were once performed by Y.A. Tittle and Del Schaffner. And it was Phil Simms, the Super Bowl MVP, taking his place alongside Charlie Connerly, the last Giant quarterback to lead his team to a championship. The story of the Giants is also a story of loyal fans who have been one with many different generations of Giant players. Through the good times and the bad, it has been a long, rewarding journey, paved by a dedicated group of players, owners, and coaches, who, from the Polo Grounds to Yankee Stadium to the Rose Bowl itself, truly remain now and forever Giants. Today, pro football is indeed a modern game. It is a glittering spectacle of sight and sound that is witnessed each Sunday by millions of Americans, while on Super Sunday, it is seen throughout the world. But once, it was not so. Pro football in the early 1920s was a game played by vagrant athletes on the tough side of towns named Canton, Duluth, and Green Bay. The NFL was still in its Neanderthal stage in 1925 when it offered a New York franchise to a 38-year-old sports entrepreneur named Tim Mara.
My father said, how much is it? And I'm not sure whether it was $500 or $2,500. And bear in mind, this time he had never even seen a football game. And they told him what the price was, and he said, well, he said, an empty store with chairs in it is worth that much in New York City, and that's how he became a pro football magnate.
Tim Mara set up his storefront in the Polo Grounds, located on Upper Manhattan's Coogan's Bluff. The original football Giants were a motley crew of cast-offs and rejects that included an aging Jim Thorpe. Despite humble origins, the Giants began to field a string of winners in the late 1920s. An early turning point for the franchise came in the early 1930s, when Tim Mara handed over the reins of the team to his son, Jack. who was president of the club through all the glory years from 1930 until his death in 1965.
Well, Steve Owen was really, I think, the rock that we built on. And he was a rock. He was a huge man in those days. And came from Kansas, and he had everything about him that I think Mid-America implies he personified. He was reliable and trustworthy, and he was, those were formative years for me. He was like my second father.
The one thing that you did with Steve is you loved the guy. He would give you some, what you might think, impossible assignments, but you responded to him because you had to deliver.
Mara hired Steve Owen, who was both master innovator and motivator. With dependable players like center Mel Hine and running back Tuffy Lehmans, Owen established the Giants as one of the league's most competitive teams. Lehmans, number 4, was one of the most electrifying stars of the late 30s and early 40s. Another versatile performer was number 14, Ward Cuff, who led the Giants in scoring for 6 straight years. The Steve Owen era was marked by 2 NFL championships and his innovative umbrella defense. But in the early 50s, a new age of professional football arrived. Already a young Giant defensive back named Tom Landry was formulating new revolutionary theories about defense, while the arrival in 1948 of quarterback Charlie Connerly signaled the end of the single-wing era. The winning legacy of Steve Owen, however, lives on.
I know in later years, the feeling was that the parade had passed him by, but he was a defensive and an offensive innovator. Many of the defenses you see used today were first used by him.
In 1956, the Giants moved into Yankee Stadium and for the first time began to experience success at the box office. In their first year in the house that Ruth built, head coach Jim Lee Howell and prominent players like Kyle Rote, Emlyn Tunnell, and Frank Gifford brought home an NFL championship.
In 1956, when we played the Bears for the championship, Yankee Stadium was not even sold out. There were 51,000 people there. It was not even a sellout. The following year, every game the Giants played was sold out. And as far as I'm concerned, it was a tremendous leap forward in appeal to fans, appeal to the media, because all of a sudden here was pro football becoming a smash hit in New York.
Day of the game, people are showing up. It's a thing on Madison Avenue. People want to be at they want to be at the Giant games. It's the Charlie Conley, Gifford, Kyle Rote, Alex Webster era, and they want to be there. It's the place to be, and it just kept going.
In 1958, the hottest ticket in New York City was for the championship game that brought the powerful Baltimore Colts to town. On that fateful December day, the Colts took an early lead, but the Giants rallied in the second half behind Charlie Connerly, Kyle Rote, and the heads-up play of fullback Alex Webster, number 29. Webster's run set up one score, while the Giants took the lead on Frank Gifford's fourth-quarter touchdown. It was at this point that a seemingly innocent championship contest turned into a game of lasting historical importance. As the seconds wound down, Johnny Unitas engineered a stunning 2-minute drill that forever changed the face of pro football. This was the marriage of the NFL and network television as millions of home viewers for the first time remained glued to their sets to watch the outcome of a football game. Sudden death overtime gave new life to the Colts and pro football. While the Giants' eventual loss was bitter to take, the 1958 championship was a step forward for a still growing league.
Pete Rozelle has said many times since that was the era that really was the birth of, quote, big-time professional football. He said primarily because it was the hotbed was New York City, which of course is the capital of is the media capital, the sponsor capital, and all that you could hear at all the meetings around town, at the bars and the cocktail lounges and so on, was that game.
Tim Mara passed away in 1959, but he had lived long enough to see pro football evolve from a sport seen by few to a sport that would eventually be seen by many. It is the most tribal and universal of modern football chants. Yet there are those among NFL historians who believe that this battle cry was first chanted in 1956, originating from the rafters of New York's Yankee Stadium during the championship game against the Chicago Bears. The Giants' crushing championship win was the beginning of a whole new era of defense in the NFL. It began when head coach Jim Lee Howell added a young Tom Landry to his already talented staff of assistants. Landry's innovative mind melded together with men like Jimmy Patton, Andy Robustelli, Jim Ketkevich, Rosie Greer, and Dick Modzelewski to produce the NFL's most revolutionary defense of its day.
They were the first defensive team that all of a sudden started putting the good athletes over on defense. Up to that time, the better athletes, especially linemen, running backs, were on the offensive side. And all of a sudden, they started putting a little better athlete. Then also, they went and started studying offensive formations and what teams were doing, which is what Tom does.
One of Landry's refinements was the creation of the 4-3 defense, designed to take advantage of the instinctive skills of middle linebacker Sam Huff. In this defense, the job of the 4 down lineman was to keep Huff free of blockers, leaving him free to act as a rover and to be in the vicinity of the football. This scheme was one of a number of plays the Giants successfully used to neutralize their main nemesis, running back Jim Brown.
Sam was basically the quarterback of that defense, and he had the flair to understand that he was in New York, so he became an instant celebrity by attaching himself to my legs quite often.
We hit him whether he had the ball or not. And we knew that we had to stop Brown because their offense was built around him. Why shouldn't you? You know, the man averaged 5.2 yards a carry lifetime.
We had to stop Jim Brown to beat the Cleveland Browns. And we were able to do it because of the defense we had in those days. We played what we called the coordinated defense. We were able to shut down the gaps for him where he couldn't find the gap to get through, and we were successful, probably better than anybody. No one stops him completely, obviously. He's too great a back to have that happen. But we slowed him down enough so that we ended up in the late 50s of being in a lot of championship games than Cleveland was.
In addition to capably dominating their rivals from Cleveland, the Giants' defense became highly proficient at scoring. Along with public praise and adulation, media attention was for the first time focused on defense. Giant defenders were not portrayed as mindless brutes, but rather as friendly, thoughtful, articulate men. This high-gloss treatment ultimately led to a rivalry between offense and defense.
In those days, they didn't even introduce the defensive ball players. It was only the offensive ball players that were introduced before the game. And it was always, you know, ladies and gentlemen, number 16 from Southern California, Frank Gifford.
It infuriated, I think, the defensive team because they had a great deal of pride, and particularly Sam Huff, who loves to babble and loves to talk, and he still does today. He wasn't any different in those days. I mean, here was a guy that tried to go home when he was a rookie, and a year later he's all pro, and 2 years later he's already voted himself to the Hall of Fame. And we had a lot of fun kidding them, and they kidded us in return.
There was a rivalry, a noticeable rivalry between the offense and defense, and I remember the quote that supposedly happened, I don't know if it did or not, where when the defense was running on the field, Sam Huff said to Frank Gifford, "We'll hold them for a few plays, so you guys, you know, you're not giving us much rest."
Despite the presence of some ill will, all agreed that this unit pioneered the effort to bring teamwork and intellect to defense.
The most intelligent defensive club in football, New York Giants. Every man knew his position, knew what he's supposed to do, knew where he's supposed to help out.
There was a new ground broken with the New York Giants because of our great defensive team. I kind of like that we opened new grounds there, not only with the New York Giants, but today the great defensive teams are get a lot of recognition from the crowds.
They played together probably as well as any team I've ever coached. They had just a sense of feel, you know, between each other. It was a good football team. It was good talent, but it wasn't really any better than some of the teams in those days. But their ability to play together and believe in each other, the way they believed in each other, was tremendous.
Some 25 years later, Tom Landry was part of the opposition as the Giant defense rose once again. Their names were Taylor, Carson, Marshall, Burt, Martin, and Banks. And the chants in the Meadowlands had not changed since Yankee Stadium. Like the Giant defense of the 50s, the Giant defense of the 80s combined brains with brawn, and it was centered around the talents of a gifted linebacker.
Red. Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun. I got to do better than this.
I feel I have enough ability. If I get into trouble, I can get out of it pretty well. You know, some guys have to play the technique, and the technique is what gets them by in the league. I play more on instinct than technique-wise.
I think you're talking about one of the best guys that ever played. I don't think there's any question about that. Maybe the best guy, in deference to all the other great players that have come before him. And I'm not saying he is the best, but he certainly has to be among the top handful of players that ever played in this league.
Led by Lawrence Taylor, the Giants emerged with the league's #1 defense in 1986. In the NFC playoffs, they brutalized the San Francisco 49ers. While their NFC title game against Washington was pure perfection. It was truly symbolic that in their first championship win since that crushing victory over the Bears 30 years earlier, the Giants' defense of the 80s would produce a shutout. From the Meadowlands to Yankee Stadium to the Polo Grounds, the Giants have appeared in a league-leading 15 championship contests. One of the most legendary occurred in 1934, when the icy Polo Grounds turf gave the Bears and Bronco Nagurski a clear advantage. Down at halftime, the Giants turned to clubhouse attendant Abe Cohen for an unusual change in strategy.
I think it was his idea. He said I could go up to school, which was Manhattan College, and our basketball team is practicing now, and I could get the basketball shoes. So he got in a taxi cab and went up to Manhattan, and I don't know if he had the keys or he broke into, I've heard all the different stories, but I know he came back late in the second quarter.
Just before the second half started, he had 12 pairs of the largest sneakers he could find, so we put them on.
And we could see him putting on tennis shoes in there. Well, we thought, oh, heck, that's foolish. That's not going to help them. We're going to walk all over their feet. Right away, we sensed something was wrong because they had good footing, and we didn't have good footing. And we were slipping and sliding around, and they were running all over us. And they started just piling up yardage and getting in position, and they ended up beating us 30-13.
But I remember during that game, George Hallis would come out on the field, and he'd look at those sneakers and just shake his head, walk off grumbling.
In 1956, it was Sneakers, the sequel, as the Bears and George Hallis once again faced the sneaker-clad Giants on a field more suitable for bobsledding than football. The lesson of history was readily apparent as the Giants glided through the Bears en route to their 47-7 victory for the NFL title. The Giants shared a similar championship rivalry with the Green Bay Packers, the 1938 championship being among the finest games they ever played. In a tug-of-war affair, the Giants and Packers traded touchdown after touchdown, until Ed Danowski and Hank Soar emerged as heroes in the come-from-behind 23-17 victory. The Giant-Packer rivalry lasted until 1962, when former Giant assistant coach Vince Lombardi took on Allie Sherman's Giants in another title game noted more for frostbite than football. The Giants scored their only touchdown when Erich Barnes' blocked punt was recovered in the end zone. But in the end, the Giants were no match for Jim Taylor and the powerful Packer ground game and the timely kicking of Jerry Kramer. While the 1958 championship has been well documented, the games leading up to it were every bit as heroic. In the final game of 1958, the Giants pulled out all the stops in the snow to tie the Cleveland Browns. but a victory was needed as the game wound down and the Giants approached midfield.
We're at midfield, and on third down, Charlie Connolly, our quarterback, hit Alex Webster right in the chest, right at the goal line, and the ball went right through his arms. He was wide open. He has often said to me since then, if I'd caught that pass, nobody would have ever heard of you. But anyway, he dropped the ball. I didn't believe that I could get the ball that far. I could barely see the goalposts. That's probably why it was good.
Pat Summerall's miracle in the Winterland remains one of the most memorable moments in all of Giants history. Well, memorable that is to most of the Giants who were on hand that day.
I've always said to Summerall that if it wasn't for me dropping that ball or the ball hit me in the shoulders, he wouldn't be anybody today. Because he stepped back and kicked the field goal, and we went on to win the game.
1 week later in the Eastern Conference playoff, the Giants needed no miracle. Jimmy Brown was literally stuffed, and this bit of razzle-dazzle by Connerly and Gifford was all the scoring the Giants needed. New York had won yet another Eastern Conference crown, but it may not have come about had it not been for the heroic effort of a then unknown kicker named Pat Summerall. Like Pat Summerall, there have been a number of Giants who have excelled in clutch situations. One of them was George Martin, the team's all-time leader in games played.
Motion toward the middle by Vance Johnson. Elway is looking for a target, goes out to the right side, intercepted, George Martin! 45! At the 45, Elway takes it and breaks the tackle. 40, 35, 30 for Martin. Martin to the 20, Martin to the 10.
George Martin's big touchdown against Denver in 1986 was not the only score of his career. In fact, George Martin's 7 touchdowns is an NFL record for a defensive lineman. Like George Martin, cornerback Dick Lynch had an eye on the end zone, scoring 3 touchdowns on interceptions in one season. Fellow defensive back Emlyn Tennell was one of the NFL's first game breakers on special teams, with a career total of 5 punts returned for touchdowns. One of the most versatile men to wear the giant blue was Joe Morrison. Tough, hard-nosed Joe Morrison played for 14 years, spanning the era of early 60s glory to later years when plays like the flea flicker were often needed to secure victory. Joe Morrison caught more passes than any other Giant, but no Giant receiver was as spectacular as Homer Jones. True to his name, Homer was a great long ball hitter who brought to the NFL 9.9 speed and something known as the spike.
Well, I had always said that when I made my first touchdown, I was going to throw the ball in the stands. And in the meantime, I had forgotten that they had changed the rules on the off season. That I think it was a $500 fine for throwing the ball in the stands. And as I crossed the goal line, my intentions and my ambition was always to throw that ball in the stand, but I thought about that $500 and it came down and I threw it on the ground. So that was the original spike right there, the origin of it.
In 1965, Earl Morrall and Homer Jones connected on a 98-yard pass play, the longest in team history. More than any other part of their offense, the Giants have had a tradition of outstanding runners, the best being Joe Morris, the first Giant to register back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. The only other 1,000-yard runner for the Giants was Ron Johnson, who performed heroically in the early 70s. In the late 40s and early 50s, no NFL runner was more difficult to bring down than number 31, Eddie Price. Perhaps the most popular Giant runner was the gentle bear of a man from Kearney, New Jersey, known as Big Red.
If you looked at Alex from the standpoint of his natural talent, standpoint of speed, the ingredients that we see today in the great athlete, well, that wasn't Alex Webster. But if you looked for a man who was a great fighter, a guy that you wanted on your side when the going really got tough, then you'd want Alex Webster to be with you.
Alex Webster's running partner was cut from a different cloth. Frank Gifford was a prince among players, possessing looks, charm, and a great degree of versatility. In addition to being one of the game's great triple threats, Gifford was tough as nails. His most famous baptism under fire came at the hands of Concrete Chuck Bednarik in a regular season encounter versus the Eagles in November of 1960.
And we didn't know at first how badly he was hurt. It wasn't until they brought him in the dressing room. We had a little doctor's office next to it. And right out on the field, when they used to line the field, one of the guards had a heart attack. And they brought him in and they put him in the doctor's room. And Frank was outside in one room, and I mean, you could tell he was hurt. And here was this guard, and he just died right like that, laying right there. And so, I mean, that day was a day of total, you know, just sadness.
The only thing that really bugs me a little bit is that I played 12 years and was in the Pro Bowl 9 years or 8 years or whatever the hell it was, and was All-Pro 6 years, and I really felt like I was a part of the spring forward of pro football. And all of a sudden, I'll be walking down the street, or somebody will walk up to me and say, "I was there when Chuck Bednarik hit you." Oh man! And I laugh and chuckle, and people think that there was this animosity between the two of us. We're good friends.
After a brief retirement, Gifford returned to the Giants, where he found a new, rather unlikely matinee idol. In his 3 years with the Giants, Y.A. Tittle was never better than in a 1962 game against the Redskins. Y.A. fired touchdown passes at will. After throwing number 6, however, Allie Sherman, concerned for his quarterback safety, made a difficult decision.
We gained control, and I felt it was time to take him out of a ball game. And I got a call from my coach upstairs, Ken Cavanaugh. He says, hey, Coachy, you know, this guy only needs one more for a record. And then guys started to come over to me. Y.A. just needs one more for the record, Coach, you know. And I said to all of them, though, I said, okay, I'm going to send him in. But after this one, he's got to sit.
Y.A. returned, registering his 7th touchdown pass, a record that still stands. From 1961 to 1963, Tittle led the Giants to 3 straight division crowns, but disappointment in postseason always followed. On a cold day in Chicago in December 1963, an era of Giant glory began to fade. The Giants took an early lead, but hampered by high winds and an injured knee, YA was but a shell of himself as the game wore on. Aided by 5 interceptions, the Bears prevailed 14-10 in what would be the last Giant playoff game for some time to come. The decline in 1964 was swift and painful, and the haunting image of a battered Y.A. Tittle in his last season was an ugly foreshadow of things to come. For the next 18 years, this proud franchise, like a Fran Tarkenton scramble, went round in circles. There was the bittersweet story of Tucker Fredrickson, the baby bull, whose awesome potential was cut short by injury. It was the saga of Rocky Thompson and disappointing draft picks. It was a tale of stopgap measures that put a strain on the future. In the end, it was Giant fans praying for a miracle, only to see the miracle go against them. In those difficult years, one constant remained: the Giant fan. Through thick and thin, they were loyal. They toasted the past and waited for next year. Like the perfect marriage, the Giants and their fans survived together through the worst of times.
Through all the bad years, I feel that our fans were faithful because they remembered the good years.
It was a big miscalculation on my part as to the loyalty of our fans. Looking back on it, our fans would have stuck with us through thick and thin, which they did for 18 years. But we misjudged them, I misjudged them, and we kept trying to get the quick fix, which was a big mistake. And you know, if we had it to do over again, we'd just build through the draft, which is what we've done recently.
The rebuilding of the franchise began with Giant Stadium, the team's first permanent home. The pride was restored from within with the hiring of George Young in 1979.
It probably took me a half a second to say yes when I was offered the job, because I always thought it was a flagship franchise, and I knew that the two owners were very fine people, and there wasn't a doubt in my mind. And I know that there's a difference between owners, and I thought that this was a great opportunity.
The Giants' resurgence continued with head coach Ray Perkins and the shrewd use of the draft that yielded talents like Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor. In 1981, they were winners. By season's end, they needed only a victory over Dallas to secure a playoff berth. Scott Brunner, filling in for an injured Phil Simms, passed for the Giants' only touchdown. In sudden death overtime, all eyes looked to Joe Danello to kick the clincher. But the haunting memories of the 18 years past suddenly shot through the Meadowlands.
No good! No good! Hit the upright.
But if there was any indication that the 1980s were going to be different, it was apparent when Byron Hunt subsequently intercepted Danny White, giving Joe Danello one more chance.
30, at the 25, a big interception by Byron Hunt. Here comes the snap, here's the boot. It looks good! It's good! The Giants win! The Giants win!
For the first time in 18 years, the Giants were in the playoffs. And like newborn babies first learning to walk, they had taken their first important steps on the long road that would lead to Super Bowl 21. After Ray Perkins' departure in 1982, little time was wasted in hiring Bill Parcells, the native son of New Jersey, who seemed destined to be the Giants' head coach.
I can recall the 56 season, the 58 season, the Giffords, the Rotes, the Conleys, the Sumralls, those guys, they were my heroes. And fortunately, I've gotten to meet quite a few of those fellas and become friends with them. And that makes it kind of special.
Billy, make sure you remind him. They might try something big early. Yeah. Okay? Last time I told you guys that, you forgot to remember. Remember? Don't worry about doing everything perfect now. Just get out there and run like hell and catch it, all right? You know what I mean? Like a street game. Remember them?
Under Parcells, the Giants did indeed become street fighters. In 1984, an improved passing game and a terrorizing defense lifted the Giants again into the playoffs, where they faced the favored Los Angeles Rams. In LA, the Giants made fools out of the experts, topping the Rams 16-13. The Giants followed 1984 with another winning season in 1985, bringing the playoffs back home in so many of the trench warfare battles of this storied NFL rivalry. In a brutally fought affair, the Bears prevailed. But for the Giants, it was a hard lesson in what it takes to be a champion.
If there's one thing we learned from the Chicago Bears last year, is that the intensity level they played at was extremely high. And we always thought we were an intense team, I think. And we found out from them that we have to step it up just one more notch.
Intensity. It was the word written into every Giant game in 1986. With a single-minded purpose to succeed, the Giants treated 1986 like a mission, where they would accept no less than an NFL championship. Triumph came on the legs and shoulders of an entire team that combined an explosive offense with a magnificent defense and a determined spirit.
4th and 17, two receivers left, one on the right. McConkey comes in motion to the right-hand side. Sims drops back to the 40. Sims throws, complete, he's in. Yes, at the 30-yard line. Snap, the spot, the kick, the shot, it is good.
The Giants closed the season in a rush, taking a 9-game winning streak into the playoffs, where they would leave little doubt that their time had come.
The handoff to Russo. Sims looking end zone. He's going to run. Lobs it. Complete touchdown. Lionel Manuel.
In Pasadena, the Giants retraced the roots of their glorious past. With a victory in Super Bowl 21, the Giants added a rich landmark to the odyssey that began in 1925, when Tim Mara said, "Even a storefront in New York with 2 chairs must be worth $500. It has been a long and glorious road that has bridged the foundations and the building of the NFL. Through the years, we have wondered at the indomitable. We have laughed at the little boys inside the men. We have even shed a bitter tear or two. Through it all, the Giants have remained a singular family, stemming from their long, unbroken string of ownership to the feeling of brotherhood that has characterized many a team. It is indeed a rich legacy of team and individual success that will stand forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Giants Hall of Fame lineup. Sam Huff, Frank Gifford, Andy Robustelli, Roosevelt Brown, Y.A. Tittle, Emlyn Tunnell, Tuffy Lemons, Mel Hine.
I know on our Giant team, we had a great feeling of comradeship, getting along, team spirit. We did not work on a Monday, but after every game, I was a captain of the Giants about 8 or 9 years. I would try to get all the players to meet somewhere on Sunday night after the game.
I believe that what we had was something that was unique. I remember one time when I was telling people that the reason why the New York Giants win was because they love one another. And the guys got really bugged at me. They said, "No, you go around telling people we love one another." Yeah.
There's something very special about it. I remember in Giant Stadium Open in 1976 and seeing so many of the same people as I walked into the stadium that were there at the Polo Grounds. They were there at Yankee Stadium. They would have gone to Shea Stadium if that would have been the case. Something very special about being involved with the Giants.
Once a Giant, always a Giant. That's a loyalty that remains.